Today I'm going to show you the best deck for every single arena in Clash Royale, starting off with Arena 1 through 4. We just use the starter deck. There's nothing worth making here. Just use the starter deck. You're not even playing real people, and I know you're not here for this. So this is the best deck for Arena 5. Now, before I discuss more about the deck, I want to give you a quick disclaimer. Every deck that I show you in this video is a good and viable deck for any arena. I'm just showing you stuff that at Arena 5 you'll be able to play. You could take this all the way to 9,000 trophies if you sub in the replacement cards. However, each arena there's usually a new card you unlock, and there's better options or other viable options that I'm trying to show you. So for this deck, you're going to want to abuse the fast cycle. You're going to use the fireball and the zap to rid the arena of any support troops or anything killing your hogs, obviously since the log has not been unlocked yet, and you're going to be pretty I don't know, blessed going up against what I still think are not real people in Arena 5, and you're going to be fine just using the musketeer and the cannon to defend pretty much everything the bots throw at you. At Arena 6 is probably the weakest deck there is here in this entire video, but Arena 6, honestly, deadass, I just tell you to stick with the hog deck. That's probably the best option. But if you want something else, the next closest thing you can level up is a really weird looking version of log bait with no log, no princess, and no goblin gang. It's a little bit chopped, which is why I still recommend to stick with the deck from last arena. However, if you do like the log baiting a little bit, you're going to be able to get out of Arena 6 using this deck, which is pretty powerful and pretty strong when you factor in that people I still aren't real, I think. At Arena 7, we have a very strong giant deck, which is probably going to carry you very far. We've got giant double prince here with triple spells. Now, the current updated version of the deck has like lumberjack Evo and dagger duchess, and we don't need to worry about that. Down here in Arena 7, you're going to be able to completely dominate with the giant double prince deck. 3 spells is more than enough to get rid of every single counter. Prince is just a oh my god, it's so broken. You're going to be able to abuse it all the way, god, to 9,000 trophies. Like, you don't have to make many Evos either in this deck to make it work, and I'm not going to show any Evos in this entire video, just to, you know, they're not necessary. Of course, if you do like the deck, you should probably try and get the Evos, but they're really hard to get for free-to-play players, apparently, early on in the game, because I'm not quite sure how early progression works, but you are going to be fine just running no Evos. For Arena 8, I cannot believe that this deck is already like a thing by Arena 8. It recruits Royal Hogs. Oh my god. This is literally a viable meta deck. Obviously, you're going to switch out Skelly Drags for Zappies later on if you do want to continue playing the deck. I would argue probably Recruits Bait is the strongest version of Recruits, but this thing is, your opponents are not ready for this at Arena 8. And honestly, all the way to 9,000 trophies. Recruits is extremely strong, very easy to play. You're going to overwhelm your opponents with the counter pushes. Usually, most people aren't even going to be able to defend one lane, but if they do, the other lane is still open, and you can counter push, and you can split lane like it's nobody's business, and pretty much just get free wins with Recruits, and you don't need the Evos either. For Arena 9, my log baiting friends have a little bit of a better deck for you to use. Actually, a lot of a better deck to use. Evo Valk, magnificent. I would definitely try to recommend getting it if you're not playing another deck that doesn't have Evo Valk in it. But she is so good. Obviously, you don't need her right now at all. And you're going to have a much upgraded and reinforced bait deck with the Dart Goblin and the Goblin Gang. And you're going to see Snowball instead of Log. We still don't have the Log unlocked, but we will very shortly. Every one of these spells that you kind of see in the early arenas can be replaced with Log once we unlock it, I believe at Arena 10, and this bait deck just gonna dominate. It's the same thing from earlier, except Dart Goblin and Goblin Barrel and Goblin Gang are gonna like really synergize and just dominate people with no spells, or even people with spells. You can still just outbait them and outcycle them. For Arena 10, we have Expo 3.0. The obvious like missing piece is the Log here. Snowball works instead of Log, and you'll be just the people aren't ready to defend Expo. You should probably, if you want to actually stick to a deck that's really good, learn Expo. It's very good, and there's tons of resources out there on how to get better with Expo. It's going to be a very powerful deck that you're going to be able to just predict people with. You're going to defend things really, really easily. You don't need evolutions here either. And your expo is going to be something that once you catch opponents overcommitting, which they do a lot down here in the early arenas, you're going to just get free expo connections, and it's going to be very, very fun. At Arena 11, we have the Mega Knight bait deck, which is really expensive because it has 3 legendaries. It is a very viable deck, it's all the way to 9,000 trophies. All of the ones I'm giving you are. But if you don't have the Inferno Dragon, the Mega Minion works instead, and you're going to still need to level up 2 legendaries. But the Evo Mega Knight is absolutely insanely broken, so if you can get your hands on it, absolutely do. He will carry you, although there are probably easier Mega Knight decks to play. This is one that will be more viable, and if you put in a little bit of work, you'll see a lot of success with this deck. Beating all types of things, it's sort of a mixture of a bait and a Mega Knight deck, because with the baiting aspect, obviously you're always going to be able to get value with your Skelly Barrels, Bats, Goblin Gangs, Spear Goblins, all zap baiting, even the Inferno Dragon to an extent. Mega Knight's going to be very, very powerful as well, and you're going to catch your opponents overcommitting, and the whole deck just really feeds into itself. A really, really, really good deck, especially for the early arenas. For Arena 12, we unlock Hog EQ, and for the first time, we have a deck with Log in it. So you could go back and put Log in place of all those other spells I was talking about, but this is a deck that will, once you unlock the Mighty Miner way down the road, you might want to sub that in, or you can keep running with the Valk or the Knight. This deck, insanely strong. You're going to be facing a lot of easy matchups. Firecracker is going to dominate. Hog Rider is going to be very hard to stop. The defense is also extremely good. If you want, you can run Cannon instead of Tesla, but this is an overall really good deck that top ladder players are still playing today, so it's going to do even better in Arena 12 because it does not struggle with mid ladder at all, as long as you're paying attention to cycling your Firecrackers and things like that. For Arena 13, my favorite deck on here, and one that I'd recommend using later on as well, is the Lava Loon Valk Classic deck. I kind of am biased because this is like my main favorite deck, and it's really, really good. You're going to be able to beat all sorts of mid-ladder menaces. If you practice with this deck, there is no mid-ladder 0 to 9,000 trophies deck that's going to be able to beat you. Obviously, you're not going to win 100% of your games. That just doesn't happen. But for the majority of the games, you will be at a favorable position. You'll be able to dominate with the Lava Loon pushes. Evo Valk, obviously extremely helpful, as I mentioned earlier, but you don't need her. It's not 100% of a thing that you need. None of these decks need Evos for you to push up to 9,000 trophies, and you're going to be able to see good defense, very good offense, even against things with multiple air counters. As you'll see, you'll have a ton of fun playing Lava Loon if you do decide to commit to it, and it's definitely the best option for Arena 13. For Arena 14, I am going to be a bit weird and recommend the same deck from Arena 13. With Arena 14, you don't unlock any new win conditions that are worth pursuing. I was originally going to give you a Golem deck with Night Witch and E-Barbs, and I kind of realized that Golem's just really bad, and you'd probably be better off sticking to Lava. There's nothing worth building your deck around the new Executioner you unlock in this arena. It's just not worth it. Stick it to the last arena's deck. For Arena 15, I would recommend this Royal Giant deck that is really, really strong right now, and you can play with Lightning and Skellies if you feel Lightning is better instead of Fireball and Guards, but Fireball is also really, really good. It kind of depends what you're facing. Just give it a try, and I would highly recommend, I think if you're already at the point where you're at Arena 15, you should be close enough to getting your first evolution. If you can, try and pursue the Hunter, and it's going to pay dividends, although you don't exactly have to have the Hunter Evo to have success with this deck. There is a better version I will show you in a later arena with the Monk, but for right now, this version will be very good, and even if you don't get the Monk, will still be very strong, especially if you can get your hands on the Evo Hunter. For Arena 16, we have Mortar Bait, which is the arena you actually unlock your first champions in, and Skeleton King is the one you should build your deck around if you so decide to, because like I've said already, there are every deck I've shown you will be very, very good if you put the right cards in, and it will still carry you all the way to 9,000 trophies. Arena 16's deck, however, is the first one that introduces champions with the Skeleton King. It's just a really nice bait deck. Obviously did get a little bit of a nerf with the Cannon Cart rework, but I assume they would eventually be looking at buffing the Cannon Cart again, and potentially once you unlock the Evo Steel Mortar, you'll have a much more fun time playing this deck. And it's just ultimately is something that's really, really good and strong in the meta, and it mixes all the aspects of powerful decks that we've shown already. For Arena 17, you unlock the Queen, assuming you get the Queen. Arena 17's best deck will be Royal Hog Cycle, an extremely popular and strong cycle deck that is very good in every arena. And once you unlock the Queen, you're going to be able to dominate with this deck. All sorts of matchups, mid-ladder menaces, top ladder menaces. Any deck is beatable with I almost said Hog EQ. It's Hoggy's EQ, and specifically Queen Hogs because of the power of 3-card cycle, the very, very easy defense you can play with Royal Delivery Log, Cannon, and Archer Queen just being so difficult to stop. With Arena 18, we refine our Royal Giant deck from earlier, just adding a Monk in place of the Ghost. This is going to bump up the cost a little bit, but Monk, RG, Hunter is one of the strongest trios, if not the strongest trio in all of Clash Royale, and is definitely something that I recommend you try and get if you do have the resources to upgrade any deck. I would recommend it be this one, and honestly, you're going to see so much success with Monk even if this deck gets nerfed. RG and Lava actually are going to be the two decks that are really going to sustain themselves in any meta. So since you no longer unlock any new cards, this is where I once again say that for the remainder of the 2000 trophies, I would highly recommend play either RG or Lava. I've shown both those decks. I think they are the strongest and most nerf-proof decks. That's why I'd recommend them. Again, any single one of the decks that I gave you in today's video will be viable in any arena. You can choose to level the early arena decks up and replace, Snowball for Log, stuff like that. Or you could pick RG or Lava to really get you through the arenas. Obviously, this is just a recommendation from me. If you end up not liking the deck, that's something you should probably try to do, playing classic challenges first, just to see if you like it, because it only costs 10 cents. You don't want to be stuck leveling and playing a deck in a game you don't like at all. So you want to pick the deck that you like the most, but of any one of these, I would definitely recommend Royal Giant or Lava. That's going to be it for the best decks for every arena in Clash Royale. Hope this video helps you, and have a great rest of your day.